On September 12, 1997, Alan Pace III would pull off the biggest cash robbery in American history by stealing $18.9 million from an armored car facility. But one mistake 2 years later would doom his entire team and the perfect heist. Here's what happened. So Alan Pace was a regional safety inspector at Dunbar, and basically that gave him access to the entire facility. Well, one time walking around, he has this idea of like, wow, there's so much money here. I could actually, if I could pull off taking this, I'd be set for life. And mind started racing, and he comes up with this brilliant plan to actually do it. So he recruits 5 of his childhood friends, a guy named Eric Boyd, a guy named Eugene Hill, Freddie McRary, Terry Brown, and Thomas Johnson, and they all get together and agree, we're gonna rob this place. All right, so he's got the plan, he's got the team, so now he needs to start getting everything laid out. So he goes in and starts taking pictures of the hallways, he starts taking pictures of the camera locations, notating where everything is, what timing the guards go to lunch breaks, how long the vault is opened up, what's the delivery schedule. He gets all of this information down. He studies the bills, he studies the denominations, he studies the bags, everything, the in and outs of working. This takes several weeks, and he decides, hey, we're gonna get this thing done. We're gonna do it the correct way so we don't get caught. And he gets called into the office on Thursday, and his boss fires him and says, hey, you need to return the keys to me by tomorrow. So the heist has to go down the next day, Friday. So part of their brilliance is that they actually attended, all 6 of them, a house party that exact same night to build up an alibi. So partway through the party, they all snuck out of the house and put on their masks, went down to the armored car facility, and broke in. So after timing the security cameras, going up to the door, unlocking it with his key that he still had, they started sneaking in one by one to miss the cameras and go into the cafeteria where they knew the guards were going to take their lunch breaks. As the guards started walking in to do their lunch breaks, the guards walked in one by one, so they had shifts. They would hold a gun to them, duct tape them, and tie them up. This happened, and then there was only 2 guards left, the 2 guard in the vault. Knowing they have the guards outnumbered, they rush at them, holding shotguns, and basically say, listen, get your face on the ground right now. They duct tape them up, tie them up, and Alan immediately starts telling the guys which bags to grab. Hey, get those ones. Those have unsequential bills, and they're the highest denomination. He starts telling them which bags to grab. Meanwhile, he runs down and goes and disables the security cameras, and he takes all the camera tapes out. Not only out of the supervisor's office, but then the backup cameras as well. So all this is going on. They have a guy outside who had actually rented a U-Haul truck, and he was backing it up. Now, there's only so much time. This is an in-and-out facility. Even though it's 12:30 at night, there's a lot of action going on. So he backs up the U-Haul truck, loads up the door, and they start tossing the bags into the back of the truck. So after breaking in, doing all of this and loading up that U-Haul truck, they did it in just under 30 minutes without a single gunshot fired. They stole $18.9 million, which is around $35 million in today's dollars. And after loading up the U-Haul, they went back to a friend's house, unloaded it, and went back to the house party to shore up the alibi. Now, police begin to investigate this. They clearly can tell it's an inside job with how smooth it was. They knew the camera locations. They were in and out so quickly. They used a key. There wasn't even really a sign of break-in. So they know there has to be an inside job. Alan Pace is one of the top people on the list because he had just gotten fired. But they went through and they could find no evidence. The only thing they actually had from the crime scene was a broken piece of taillight that they knew was from a U-Haul truck, but they weren't able to match it to anything. And this kind of stayed that way for several years until one mistake cost everybody. Now, these guys were smart. They didn't spend a dime for 6 months. And without any real evidence for the police to kind of hit Alan on, nothing happened. So they went to a real life Saul Goodman named as David Matsumoto. And he was an immigration attorney who they paid $1 million to help launder the money through their various companies that they would end up creating. They created fake companies through friends. They used real estate to launder the money and all sorts of other things. Now, it was during one of these transactions 2 years later where Eugene Hill had given a broker friend of his a stack of cash for a real estate deal, and he still had the currency notes with the currency straps attached to them from the robbery. The broker took those to the police and they brought Hill in for questioning. After investigating him further, they were able to see that he had also rented a U-Haul that day. He was subsequently arrested and he confessed and then named all his co-conspirators. So they all end up getting arrested. Alan, being the mastermind of the thing, was sentenced to 24 years. Eric was given 17 years because he had already had a previous charge from having a gun. The other 4 were given a various terms of 8 to 10 years. And the lawyer who had to resign from the state bar was indicted on 71 counts of money laundering and only received 2.5 years. But it doesn't end all badly for them. Alan Pace was released from prison after serving only 19 years, and the police investigators were only able to recover $5 million of the 18.9. So 13.9 is still unaccounted for.